the Beatty will take attendance. 5 board members show up, plus you and Robert. Okay, Robert as a manager.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Mr. Shen, I think you already did. So everybody's here. So Mr. Shen,
Yeah.
Jerry, Alex,
Yes.
Tanya, yes, I'm here, and myself, Betty, and Robert.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, and Richard. So
Correct.
Peter and Caesar are not here.
Okay.
Yeah, Peter Cedar is on vacation. So now, and Robert, can you charge for the meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you what?
So I think you can start.
I didn't understand. What is it you asked Robert?
He'd like me to run point on the meeting, if that's okay.
To do what? I'm sorry.
I'm in charge of running the meeting.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so
Okay.
obviously we know what this is about. It's the $500 fine that you're attempting to levy.
Right.
And so we have governing documents for the Justice Court Corporation, the Certificate of Incorporation, the restatement of the Certificate of Corporation, the House Rules and Regulations, the bylaws of Justice Court, and the occupancy agreement. So those are the 5 documents that serve as the governing documents. Okay. So there is nothing in any one of the documents that says anything about the distribution or posting of flyers. There's not one word about it. Okay? So that's one point.
Yeah, if I may, I mean, I'd like to make this as brief as possible here, because this is really a very cut and dry matter with regards to what's happening here. Again, as I can only speak for the prior year's worth of goings on operations with the building since we took over as management. I can though tell you though within that time period, as well as with applying my prior knowledge and other experience in being a property manager, that there are certain ways to go about doing certain things, and also when there is basically things that are stated in the bylaws and the house rules that you are referencing, that while it may not make specific references to those certain items, there's also something about posting information that's not accurate.
No, I'm sorry, Robert.
Let me finish. The fact that it's being done in such a nature is going about doing things all wrong, and it's going against what the rules are of the building. Hence, therefore, we are in our right with which to levy a fine against the person perpetrating this, because that is a way in order to us to enforce these rules. So you have to understand that. You do understand what you've done. I know you're not, you're admitting, you're not denying that, those acts were committed.
Well, we didn't. I'm sorry. We did not get to that part yet. We're not at that point yet. We're not at that point yet. We haven't even gotten to the flyers or the lack of flyers.
Let me just finish my statement.
Okay, you said you were going to make it short.
With you here is what the issues are, that you guys are supposedly having with the board, with the accountant, with the management, whatever it may be, in terms of, if it's financially driven, if it's, shareholder meeting driven, a combination of those things. I can obviously sit here and tell you that we can and will, work with you in terms of, obviously everybody will be provided the financial statement, in a timely fashion. We will have an annual meeting, that will be scheduled for later this year, and, we will have the ability to have all, matters presented and have hopefully proper elections done. And obviously if it's a matter of trying to remove current board members and put in new people to be on the board, if you'd like to be, there's ways to go about that, and there's a proper process in which to do that. This not something that you do in order to make that change come about or whatever the agenda is that you're trying to push. So that's all I want to let you know. That's the whole reason why this has been done. There's really nothing else to debate or argue about at this point. You can act however you'd like to going forward in terms of how you want to deal with such fine, but the fact of the matter is that it's staying, and that's really the long and short of it. Now, we can work through our issues.
Excuse me. Are you going to let me talk? Are you going to let me talk? Are you going to let me talk?
I'm done now, so now you can speak.
Okay. So, actually, everything you're saying is just your interpretation. I don't agree with it. The other thing is that the occupancy agreement discusses specific fines for late payment, return checks, and subletting. So it also says that a schedule of fines could be created by the board. The schedule of fines means that you identify certain violations and then list what the fines would be. So there's no such published list. Okay? So your opinion is that posting public information is not a way to bring about change. Well, that's just your opinion, but that's a very common way to bring about change. No, it's your opinion. It's your opinion. There's no legal basis for what you're saying. You're not.
Sir, I am the property manager here. You are still just a shareholder.
I'm just a shareholder. I am your employer, idiot.
I don't need a dictation from you about this matter. I'm not going to get into any further debate or argument about it. You want to work with me about trying to find out how we work to get a resolution to all of your issues? That's great. I'm not going to debate you on the premise of the fines or not. And what you
wait a second, but that's what this is all about. That's what the hearing is supposed to be about. You cannot refuse to listen to me, right? I mean, that's what you're saying.
You're just going to continue to deny, and there's nothing to deny. We know what you've done. You know what you've done. This is how it's being handled. We're not going to allow for improper information. If you would come to us and
what is improper? Tell me exactly what was improper.
Most things that aren't true.
What?
That's what I'm trying to get at.
What exactly are you saying is untrue?
Basically, all of the items in which
that's baloney.
And whatnot have spoken to about in terms of where money has gone, what people have done with this, who's doing what. Basically, I mean, you're putting out a form of slander against.
No, it's not slander. No. Nothing is slander.
About it, and you're giving the premise to other people that people are doing nefarious things that just simply aren't happening. So even if you're putting it out there, with some sort of whatever knowledge or facts that you think you have, it's still not something that you do in order to, try to convey whatever it is that you're trying to convey. And that it's better to have a discussion with us and let us show you everything that we have, because there's no reason not to be transparent with everything. We have the ability to do so. We have the ability to talk with you about it, and it's just that's not the way you go about it.
Okay,
that's really what it comes down to.
So
I don't have a problem with you guys having issues.
Excuse me, Robert. Robert, excuse me. Robert, excuse me. Robert, excuse me, Robert. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you're just trying to bulldoze me, all right? So it is my right. You're trying to bulldoze me. Okay, you're just as bad as Shen. You will not let other people talk.
Go ahead. Let me hear what you have to say. Go ahead.
So wait a second.
What are you going to say? You have nothing to say. So.
Well, if you would shut up for a second? If you could shut up for a second.
Richard, this is Tanya. According to the occupancy agreement, you have to attend the meeting to present evidence to show why you dispute the fine.
Excuse me, Mr. Shen. Chanye. If there was a violation, that would be what we're talking about. But there is nothing in the rules that mention flyers. It also does not mention that you can fine people just because you don't like what they said. Okay? So you don't have any authority to do this. You're just sort of trying to bulldoze your way through. There's no accuracy to what you're saying. You can't debate anything that I've said. I've never written anything that wasn't based on fact, or I've asked questions like, where is the money and what are they hiding? But I've never made statements that people are doing anything illegal or nefarious. I've never used that word, right? So facts speak for themselves, right? So the whole thing is...
Can I just ask something real quick? I apologize to cut you off. If the fact that you're asking these questions, what good is asking these things publicly? Why aren't you coming to the source so that we can talk about this and see the financial? I mean, you're making it sound like you've never seen or been able to have a discussion about the financials or anything about that in order to get to the source of where these things that you're questioning are stemming from. That's what I don't understand.
We have tried for almost 18 months to see the documents of the corporation and have been continually denied. So you're saying we could have had a dialogue? You're saying we could have had a... Would you please, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you?
I'm just asking a simple question, sir.
No, you're not. You're bulldozing. You're just trying to run over the... You're bulldozing. You're not listening.
I'm about to end this call in a minute because there's nothing else here to debate unless you're going to talk to me about what the issues are.
Well, I'm trying to say what the issues are, and you bring up things that are not issues. We have tried to get the information. It has been denied to us. There is nothing in the governing documents about flyers or information. There is nothing in the documents about giving you authority to issue a fine for something that there is no rule about. Okay, so you're totally wrong. You know that. Okay, so
Okay.
you are now in a position that you cannot move forward with this. Otherwise, you'll go to court. Okay.
Then take us to court. Thank you. We're done, sir. Thank you, Mr.
So you're cutting me off.
No need to discuss this
You're
anymore.
cutting me off.
He's allowed to take whatever necessary steps next he'd like to take because there's nothing else to debate at this point. We will be forthcoming with the financials and with the annual meeting. You'll have your chance to talk about those things at that time, and at that point, that's it.
Okay,
There's
so
nothing really else to discuss.
you really don't
We're
want to
going
allow
on
me.
here. Thank you.
You really don't want to listen to the logic of anything here.
Thank you. Okay. You can record the rest of it. Thank you.
You don't want to listen to the logic of this because you know
Mr. Shen.
you're wrong.
Okay.
Thank you.
No.
You know that you're wrong.
No, I think.
You know that you're wrong. You know that you're wrong. You know that you have no authority to do this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You have no authority. You have no authority to do this. Okay, so at this point, they hung up on me.